Hello and happy week 3. I went back and forth if I wanted to do the 500 word reflection paper, but I feel like this type of topic is so much more personal and it's just more me to do a video. So I'm just gonna kind of go through these little topics that you have listed here, and then I'm sure you already knew how much I really liked the Rowan Williams videos, so I have a quote. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily a quote, but a topic that was discussed in there that really stuck out to me regarding prayer, but I think that it also has to do a lot with, obviously, worship and how it can be viewed. So I grew up singing. I've always sang. Musical theater was my main thing that I was a part of, but I decided one day that I really wanted to get involved with church and the worship community. Worship as in singing community. It's kind of the only way that I saw worship at the time. Things have changed definitely over the years, but I lived in Rancho Cucamonga, California, and there was a church in that area, a non-denominational church that I was starting to get more involved with in their youth group, and then I went through this whole process of trying to get on their worship team and actually had a pretty negative experience in just kind of the idea of how they saw worship and what they were wanting through their worship experience. And I don't necessarily want to say that it was the wrong way, but it's not necessarily how I believe now that worship should be. And so I stepped back for a little while in regard to worship, and I did a lot of my own covers and videos through guitar or band or whatever it was at home, and just progressively started to create my own relationship with God through the act of worship. And there was a moment where I was watching a YouTube video of All Sons and Daughters, which is a band, a worship band, and she described worship as not just you getting up and singing for people, or even getting up and worshiping God in front of people, but it was more so just a way of life. And she describes each step she takes and each word that comes out of her mouth and each story that she listens to and each song that she sings, no matter if it's a Christian type song or not, as acts of worship, because she's utilizing the gifts that God has made available to her, whether that be through people or through just the simple act of breathing. So I started to really live my life in that way, and through that I just found that worship started to become so much more than just music, even though that is a key way that I worship because I'm a singer, but it became just about my community and the people in my life and people I didn't even know. I would go out of my way to listen to people's stories and really think of that as a way of worshiping God. So when I went to college, sorry, this is why I did the video, because I just talk. When I went to college, I started to watch the people worship, and I saw and I experienced the worship that I'd craved for so many years. And so I started getting involved in that way, and led worship throughout all of college. And when I initially moved to New York, I actually came here for musical theater and then fell back into worship again at my church, and it's been one of the most beautiful experiences and gifts that I've ever been given. So the text that I wanted to share, now that I'm running out of time here, is from the Rowan Williams video, and he's talking about all three of the texts that he talks about with Galatians and Matthew and Romans. And he says that something that they all have in common is that their center is the confidence in addressing God as Abba, or the parent or the source, the one to whom we can go to with confidence and intimacy. He's the one that we don't have to persuade to listen to us or be nice to us. He sweeps our arrogance and insecurities away. and we can talk to him as if we have Jesus within us because of the Holy Spirit and that gift that we've been given. So I really loved that. I think that if more people lived their life with that type of mentality, with God being the parent and the sole source within us, we would better be able to understand what worship can be, not just in our lives, but a reflection of what people can feel, reflect off of us into their lives. So that's where I'm at with my worship journey, and I'm really sorry I'm at 5 minutes and 30 seconds, but I really, really appreciate you listening, and looking forward to more of this quarter. Exciting stuff.